We turn now to science and religion. It is a frequent debate whether the two can really coexist, but our next guest talks about the fact that maybe the two can be coupled together. He is psychology professor David Desteno and the author of the new book, How God Works: The Science Behind the Benefits of Religion. Now, in his book, David reveals how a number of religious practices from around the world actually improve emotional and physical health. David, we thank you for joining us tonight. You're a psychology professor. You study theories, you study how the brain functions. A lot of people might think, as stereotypical as it is, that that is diametrically opposed to the study of God and religion. How did your interests circle in that area?
I'm just following the data. And if you look at the data, people who regularly take part in religious services and practices tend to live longer, healthier, and happier lives. What I want to know is why. Now, there's a subtle point there that's easy to miss. It's not saying that you believe in God that matters. It's actually taking part in the daily or weekly rituals and practices of a faith that really does the heavy lifting. That's what predicts healthier and happier lives. And what that suggests to me is that those spiritual practices can be tools, and tools that might be adapted. And even in my own lab, where we study kind of how to make people more generous, more kind, have better connection to others, a lot of the things that we have discovered, the life hacks and techniques, religion has been using for thousands of years. And so what I'm suggesting is, let's look for what else is out there that might benefit us if we work together.
I'm sure that could go in a lot of different directions, but do you think it's the routine? Is it the example of thinking about something larger than yourself? Have you been able to pinpoint what it is?
It depends on which rituals you're talking about. They package things together in lots of interesting ways. I mean, you know, religions, do you have to have religion to be a good person? No, but they really give you the tools. You know, one thing a lot of religions do is make people offer prayers of thanksgiving, right? Christians say grace before meals. Jews every morning say the Moda Ani, which is a prayer to God. Thank you for letting me be here again. And what we know in our lab is when we make people feel grateful, they become more ethical, more generous, more kind. They'll cheat less. In one study where we allow them chances to flip a coin to earn more money or less money, depending on if it's heads or tails, the average people on average cheat about 53% of the time. But if we have them count their blessings before they do it to feel gratitude, that drops to 27%. And so what these religions are doing is giving us tools that nudge our minds below our conscious radar.
One of the areas we've for sure seen a lot of interest in recent years is in the Buddhist practice of meditation, and a lot of people who practice it are not necessarily religious. That would fall in the category of spirituality. What are you finding out specifically about meditation?
Yeah, I mean, meditation is a great point. You know, if you read the New York Times, you will think, well, I can meditate to reduce my stress. I can meditate to be more creative. But that wasn't why it was created. It was created to end suffering of all sentient beings. And what we found is that it works that way. Even a few weeks of meditation made people more willing. When we had an actor come out in front of them who looked in pain, 50% of meditators went to help that person, whereas only 16% of others did on average. It even reduces people's willingness to kind of lash out at each other when they're provoked. And there are lots of tools like this. And I think that's the key. In the book, How God Works, the idea is these practices make life better for people. And it's up to you whether you want to think that they're divinely inspired or that they come from people trying things out to see what works. We don't know the answer to that. There is no test for the fingerprint of God. But these practices do have an effect on our minds and bodies.
Can you expand a little bit? You touched on this earlier. Survey after survey is showing that people tend to be moving away from religion, but not necessarily becoming staunch atheists where they believe, I'm here, the universe is here, that's it. A lot of people are becoming spiritual. Can you kind of extrapolate on what that spirituality is and expand on how it can make people live longer, be happier?
Sure. You know, I think this is the first year that since Gallup was measuring this, that the majority of Americans didn't report belonging to a church, a mosque, or a synagogue. And there's lots of reasons why people are leaving institutionalized faiths, scandals, disagreements with policies. But when they leave, as you said, they're not becoming atheists, at least not most of them. They're looking for another way of being spiritual. And it's because they recognize those tools help them. You know, morning rituals are one clear example, right? We all We all are trying to deal with grief and mourning, especially in the time of COVID-19. But what's packaged into these rituals are amazing ways that help us deal with our grief.
It's pretty fascinating stuff. I mean, I'm so curious because the headlines that I've seen about some of your research are the fact that psychologists have now discovered what religious people have known for centuries. Did you feel like or do you hear from people who are like, yeah, we've been saying this for a long time, this isn't new?
Yeah, they have. So, a lot of the things that we discover, like how meditation makes people kinder, or prayers of gratitude make people more honest and caring, or things like covering your mirrors in Irish wakes or sitting Shiva reduce grief. We'll say, oh, we have some data for this. And they'll say, well, yeah, but we knew that a long time ago. And sure, maybe they didn't understand how it worked, right? They couldn't do brain scans or randomized control trials, but they had intuitions. And I think that's why if we work together, we're going to be moving science of well-being forward more rapidly.
I know that scientists don't want to make the research about themselves when they do interviews typically, so if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize, and you don't have to answer it. But has the data that you found had an impact on how you live your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and I like most scientists, I tended not to pay religion much heed. But now, just because I see the data in front of me, I'm trying to incorporate a lot of those elements, both for myself and for my friends who are going through hard times, to help us all kind of deal with the stresses that life throws at us.
Very interesting. If you're following the numbers, you're not always going to know where they're going to take you. David, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much. And How God Works, the science behind the benefits of religion, is out now wherever books are sold. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.